Before Uncharted Drake's Fortune, games were fun, but that's what they were, games. I had never seen anything like the cinematic movie style that this game delivered. From the graphics, to the dialogue, to the remarkable storytelling, I was in awe. Once I had completed it, I knew I had just played a game that would change the industry forever. So what made it so revolutionary? And was it for the better or worse of gaming? Let me take you back to 2007. We had only been blessed with the PlayStation 3 console for a year when its era-defining game was released. I remember it like it was yesterday. When I heard that there was a new game based on Sir Francis Drake, I couldn't wait to get my hands on it. Eventually I did, and I was immediately blessed with an inspirational quote from the man himself. When we're immediately introduced to Nathan Drake and Elena Fisher as they're standing over Sir Francis Drake's coffin, I was totally hooked. The camaraderie between the main characters is joyful, but it was the mystery of the treasure that instantly engaged me. The cutscenes felt like a film, and I couldn't wait to explore the world I'd just entered. I didn't have long to enjoy the feeling of intrigue though, because we were immediately attacked by pirates. Fighting them off wasn't easy. One of the biggest improvements throughout the Uncharted series is the combat system. In its first iteration, it was often frustrating. This is because pressing the aim button throws your character's vision in the opposite direction to where the enemy is standing. It would have been easy to fight the pirates with button combos, but when they started firing rockets at me, I decided that my only option was to learn how to aim. Thankfully, Nate's old friend Victor Sullivan came to save us in his plane, and we escaped the burning boat just in the nick of time. I wouldn't go as far as calling Nate and Sully heroes to begin with. Although I was appreciative of Nate's enthusiasm for the historical element of the treasure, both characters do seem hell-bent on finding a fortune, no matter who they hurt in the process. The way they ditch Elena is heartless, but I guess that's what's to be expected when you play a game with thieves.
We need to move fast, so just get me the camera crew, and I promise you that... Son of a bitch. Hey! Should have seen that one coming.
Nate and Sully then explore the Amazon rainforest to find the treasure of El Dorado. With the added incentive of Nate finding out more about his namesake, Sir Francis Drake. Growing up, I wanted to pursue the lifestyle of finding treasure, yet after I saw the rainforest, the dangerous climbing involved, and of course, the men shooting their guns at me, I decided to just enjoy these games on my PlayStation instead. I also don't do well in caves, which is exactly where we found ourselves after finding a way underground. Destroying the ancient buildings bothers me, so solving the puzzles in Drake's journal is a much better way of progressing the story. After I'd matched up all the symbols, I found myself once again in danger. Walking across the wooden bridge didn't feel like a good idea, and then it predictably started to fall apart. This meant having to sprint to avoid falling to my death. Thankfully, I did manage to survive this ordeal, and I decided that that was rather heroic from Nate. When I first saw a review of Uncharted Drake's Fortune, I didn't know what to expect. Then I started playing the game, and I thought I had worked out what the game was all about. Nothing could have prepared me for the moment I witnessed the German U-boat under the waterfall. So many questions emerged in my brain. How did it get there? Why is it so important that we search inside? And frankly, what have the Nazis got to do with Sir Francis Drake? I agreed with Sully. It was all a bit hinky. Deciding that the only way I was going to answer my questions was to continue the game, I climbed around the waterfall and became distracted by the astounding scenery on show. Climbing is the best thing about this game. I used to think I could climb like Nate, but I'm glad I never tried to find out. Some of the ledges he hangs from are perilous to say the least. The environment around you often crumbles and breaks, which means you have to always remain focused. There are so many creative ways to traverse the environment. I finally found my way inside the creepy U-boat, and I was shocked by what I found. Some old coins were fine, but in the next room, there lay a dead body. I had the heebie-jeebies. Thankfully, Sully put me at ease by telling Nate to rob the poor soul, but then he stopped replying. The feeling of impending doom was rising in my bones as I left the U-boat, and then everything made sense. We were then introduced to the game's main villain, Gabriel Roman. I guess it comes with the territory of being a full-time treasure hunter, but Gabriel Roman is a cold-blooded English bastard.
Don't be stupid, he knows we'll kill him once we find the treasure. He has no incentive to tell the truth. Really, Navarro, sometimes I think you left your brains back in that slum where I found you.
After he had taken our findings from this adventure, he then shot Sully.
Sully! Sully!
I remember being devastated when I first witnessed that scene, but I didn't have long to grieve. The U-boat explodes from the bomb Nate accidentally ignites, and then the escape is on.
Stop him!
We run into Elena before having to fight our way out of the underground cave we've just explored. I can't always be bothered to take cover when in a gunfight. I don't always need to because of the health system. The colour from the screen drains the closer you are to death, so you have a clear window before needing to hide. The shooting feels great if you land a headshot. It makes me sick when enemies are willing to use explosives in historical locations, so I enjoy killing them before they have a chance to shoot. You're in control of exactly where Nate shoots. The game doesn't do anything for you. There were many enemies, but we made it back to the plane, ready to set off for the next step of our journey towards finding the treasure. During the journey, we start to see Nate and Elena's love blossom. Unfortunately, the plane is shot down, and we crash land separately in the middle of another jungle. At this point, my trust that the remaining characters will survive the story is about as strong as Nate's parachute. After surviving the landing, the hunt is on to find Elena. Traveling through the jungle is an immersive experience. From the flies to the animals and the water that looked drinkable, I felt like I was actually there myself. My serenity was then broken by the arrival of enemies. At times, the constant barrage of bad guys can become suffocating, and it would have been nice to be able to progress the story instead. One by one, I took them out with the wide array of weapons available. As you progress through the story, the difficulty of the enemies increases, but so does the caliber of weapons you can use. Grenades are very effective when fighting a large group at once, and you can always fire from the hip if you're under severe pressure. I then had to climb up the side of a castle, and I noticed something. Uncharted Drake's Fortune is beautifully picturesque. It's so beautiful, in fact, that the camera slowly pans out whenever there is a nice view on offer. This is how you know the team in charge of graphics is proud of their achievement. We do eventually find Elena, but it's she who does the rescuing when Nate ends up in a prison cell. We're having an energetic conversation with the unbearable Eddie Raja.
Hey, Drake. Eddie Raja.
When Elena breaks the prison walls with a 4x4, we climb into the vehicle and are then treated to a spectacular car chase. It felt incredible to blow up the enemy motorbikes and trucks, and after some near misses, we finally managed to make our escape. My experience using the car was amazing, but the jet ski, not so much. It wasn't easy to drive. Dodging the explosive barrels felt impossible, but at least Elena's shooting was manageable. My only chance to survive was to make sure that there were no barrels left to avoid. As it turned out though, that shouldn't have been my biggest concern. I was making my way through the hazardous waters when I did something I've never done before. I completely lost my bearings and my ability to drive the jet ski. Weirdly, the game had become ghostly quiet. There were no longer any enemies shooting at me or any barrels to dodge. This went on for about 5 minutes until I found myself right back at the start of the checkpoint. I felt delirious. I travelled back down the river until I ended up where I was supposed to be, with my tail between my legs and my cheeks burning red. The final nail in the coffin was needing a hint to find my way out of the water. After splitting from Elena, I killed a lot of enemies with some exciting new weapons and a machine gun. She then returned with some surprising information. Sully was still alive. There were no guns pointed at him, and he looked healthy. This seemed strange, and begged the question as to whether Sully had played us for fools. As I spent time pondering this possibility, I was treated to crossing another wooden bridge that was always going to break.
Elena, I can't hold on. Give me your other hand. You've got to let it go.
before finding myself back on the perplexing jet ski. Frankly, I'm not sure it's scientifically possible to climb water rapids on a jet ski. Throwing some barrels in front of me only made my job harder, and I was slightly surprised I'd made it to the top with only a couple of deaths to mention. From this point onwards, the weather became very gloomy. There were traps to avoid, and it was a mystery as to who was creating them. Everything suddenly felt haunted. Yet, it was all worth it to finally link back up with Sully. After some minor interrogation, it turned out that it was Drake's journal that saved his life. We reunited as friends, and I opened the journal to solve the puzzle. It didn't take long before each ornament was facing the right direction, and the secret entrance was opened. Every good story has moments where the action is crazy, and moments where things slow down. Solving puzzles is a nice little interlude between all the violence. The game then progresses as I work my way through the activities in the church. I was excited as I finally got my hands on my favourite weapon, the Dragon Sniper. Accurately blasting enemies with a gun like that feels wonderful. Lastly, I worked out one more puzzle with the help of Drake's journal, and once every symbol was appropriately placed, I headed deeper into the darkness. At this point, I knew I was coming to the end of Uncharted Drake's Fortune, yet I still didn't have any idea what was going to happen. Considering I've played this game so many times before, I still had no idea where I was going. I repeatedly died to the moving flames. It took me a while, but I found my way in the end. Waiting for us was the body of Sir Francis Drake himself.
It's Drake. He never found it, he just died here.
Unfortunately, he didn't die on a treasure-filled island in paradise. He died in a cave with nothing to show for his life.
So much for greatness.
What a pity.
Wasted his life. For nothing.
We didn't have long to dwell on that disappointment though, because Eddie had found us.
Hello, boys.
Then, everything changed. I thought I was playing a game about pirates and treasure, but boy was I wrong. First, I heard the
What
groans.
the hell's going on out there?
Didn't you see them? Oh no. Oh God, no. We're trapped.
Jesus, what is that?
We're dead. We're all dead.
Next, Eddie's henchman was thrust off the podium.
Eddie, get back here!
Then I saw it. A man who had been overcome by a terrible sickness. A demon. It was in this moment I knew that this was a very different game from what I thought I was playing. This was the scene that cemented Uncharted Drake's Fortune in my soul forever. Eddie and I fought off rounds of demons until he was brutally murdered in front of my eyes. Elena then helped me escape the podium, and then we worked out that Drake was protecting the world from the demons.
The gold of El Dorado bears a terrible curse. The Spaniards have unleashed hell, become as demons. My men have all been murdered, leaving the task to me alone. No ship will depart this island. I destroyed them all and drowned the cursed city. A thing of such great evil must never leave these shores.
He lost his life so that the cursed treasure of El Dorado would never leave the island.
Francis Drake. My God.
The next thing I knew, I was in some kind of dungeon. I was surrounded by darkness, with demons attacking me from every side. No part of me was prepared for how scary this game would be, and the only thing that mattered now was survival. For some reason, I seemed to be making this objective difficult for myself, because I kept reloading my gun at stupid times. This essentially allowed the demons to have a free attack at me. You'd think the soldiers would understand that we need to work together as a team to survive, like Eddie did. But no, I ran out of bullets in my M4, and I only had a few sniper bullets left. They were all I needed, and all the soldiers were dead. Earlier, I said that no character in Uncharted Drake's Fortune was a hero, but I was wrong.
Ah! I did not see that.
Yes, they all have their own reasons for searching for El Dorado. Nate wanted to find out what happened to Drake, Sully the financial rewards of finding treasure, and Elena was determined to find a story for her show. Yet, they were heroes by the end of the game. It's a simple choice really. You just can't let the cursed treasure leave the island. The El Dorado treasure cave was a wonderful sight. As a kid, I was obsessed with pirates and treasure, so to witness trinkets and a giant golden coffin was magical. Sully didn't believe in the curse at first, but he soon understood the situation.
No, what the hell is that?
Witnessing Gabriel Roman transform into a demon was nightmare-inducing.
My God. Watch this. Adios, Jefe. So little imagination.
But finding out that Navarro knew about the curse all along was even more unsettling.
That thing wiped out an entire colony. You don't know what you're doing.
Wrong. I'm the only person on this island who knows what the hell he's doing.
The main villain of Uncharted, Drake's Fortune, had been quietly waiting for his moment in the background. He knew that the demons were the Spaniards who never left. Nate very quickly became one of the most popular characters in gaming, and it's mainly due to his heroics. He hoists himself onto the treasure, and with Elena's help, he manages to bring the helicopter crashing onto the boat. It's then a shootout for the fate of the world. Navarro is a lethal gunman. You must maintain the perfect body shape behind cover, or he will kill you. If his accurate shots don't kill you, then the falling debris, which requires fast button pressing, will. I worked out his moveset quite easily, and kept advancing until Nate and Navarro settled things the old-fashioned way, with a fist fight. I didn't miss a button, and Navarro was down. The game then outed me for playing on easy mode, but before I could become too disappointed, Navarro was back on his feet. Elena was in Nate's arms, but Navarro was pointing a gun right at them. Like all heroes do, Nate found a way to win. He pushed the helicopter off the side of the boat, trapping Navarro, along with the treasure, with rope which pulled him to the bottom of the ocean, hopefully never to be seen again. Elena then gave Nate Sir Francis Drake's ring back to him in a touching moment.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Sully swooped by to pick them up with a large grin on his face. He finally had his hands on some treasure.
Sully, you beautiful son of a bitch!
The game ends with Nate and Elena embracing as the boat sails off into the sunset. So how has Uncharted Drake's Fortune affected gaming? Some people complain about linear games, but I love them. I enjoy open world games as well, but there is just something about being taken on an interactive journey that I find exhilarating. It's like watching a movie, except I'm taking an active role in what happens in each scene. Certain moments occur regardless, but how I climb the castle or kill the demons is entirely my choice. There will always be people out there who want more control, but this game is a high-octane thrill ride, and it's a joy to be a part of it. Uncharted Drake's Fortune truly is a masterpiece in storytelling. There is an argument to say that it's the start of modern gaming. The Last of Us takes the mantle of being Naughty Dog's best, most popular game, but I've always felt that the Uncharted series deserves to be viewed in the same category, if not for the graphics or the dialogue,
So long, Nate. It's been fun.
the gameplay, or the moving story, then plainly because of the impact it had on a kid who just wanted to explore the world. It's not the best Uncharted game, and it's not even my favourite, but it's definitely the one that is the most, well, me.